Hello and welcome everyone to PAX and Recreation, and today we are here to open a Maze of Millennia, not Maze of the Millennia, it's Maze of Millennia, not to be confused with Millennia from the Elden Ring. And as you can see, someone messaged me be like, oh, well, you know, the modern ones, if you buy a more recent playmat, it doesn't have the lines that visible. I was like, okay, I can do with this one. And it's true, the lines are not that visible, and I think that bothers me. To a degree, I think that bothers me. I think I prefer like more visible lines, although I can see like this compromise is kind of, you know, the nice middle ground, I guess. Even more when you have something so visual, like if you have lines, you start covering a bunch of things. I don't know. So back to the box. Maze of Millennia. Oh, Millennia. Damn. Box of Millennia is one of those that is already a friend of the channel. A YuGiOh box that is kind of particular. Is part of the year of the quarter of a century in YuGiOh. Now it doesn't have anything special because of it. Although I like the box, it does call for a bunch of things and has this card that is like a, I don't know why it feels so Yu Yu Hakusho to me, but 7 cards per pack, 24 packs per box. So that makes it the perfect size for a video opening. And as you can see, the boosters are already committing war crimes right here. So let's see, and let's start with the boosters. Alert! I love that the exclamation is smaller than the actual text, but why not? So spell cards go here. Altergeist Protocol. Not bad. Supreme Rage. This, I guess, the special thing here is that most cards, if not all of them, have silver letters, so they are secret or whatever, or rare or whatever. Gazelle, the king of the mythical beasts. So I love this card. This card is kind of whatever, but everyone that plays Yu-Gi-Oh knows what this is all about. Like, such an epic name. I'm going to summon Gazelle, the king of the mythical beasts, and it's like whatever. And the fusion with Behemoth is just like, what? It's not that good. Earthbound Greater Line Walker. So I think if I remember correctly, there's that Earthbound archetype going on. Sun God Unification. Okay, not bad. And Earthbound Servant Geo-Gryphon. Or Griffon. I just can't say Griffon or anything similar to Griffith out loud without getting triggered and start saying Griffith. So sorry, it's trauma. Extinguish. I would love if every booster just starts with like an exclamation word. So alert and extinguish. There you go. Altergeist. Prime Banshee. Okay. I guess it's going to be if I get like 2 more types of cards, it's going to be like a double 2 lanes kind of thing. Millennium Revelation. Okay, not bad. Satellite Synchron. There you go. Chimera, the flying mythical beast. The most whatever. Actually, you know what? Let's do the problem is the normal monsters, which I think is only Gazelle is the like a normal relevant monster in this thing, but I might digress. I might be wrong. You gotta love the effect of this thing. Like, plus, like, the names are super whatever. A gazelle is another animal, so I guess that's the point. That's the joke. I always love that irony of it's a gazelle, but it's called gazelle, but it's not a gazelle. It's just like a lion thing, and it's the king of the mythical beast, even though it's just 1,500. And then the fusion of Gazelle, the king of the mythical beast, and Baphomet, which is another cool name. And Baphomet just kind of looks like the brother of Gazelle that like goes to the gym and stuff like that. And it's more expensive to summon because he only comes on for Christmas dinners and Thanksgiving and stuff like that. And the fusion is just called Chimera, which is a type of creature. It's not even a name. It's like, what? It's so lazy. So Chimera, the flying mythical beast, at least it has some level of effect. And this is the redacted version, right? Like the errata version or whatever. Because it has the fusion ingredients and says, this card is always treated as a Phantom Beast card. So, because later they release an archetype and they deem this card as to be necessary as part of the archetype. This is one thing that I don't like about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like it doesn't feel like it's planned or structured in a way that you can easily stack stuff on top of each other. So they need to go back and be like, oh yeah, this card counts. It's like, there's no indication of that, but okay. When this card is destroyed, you can target one Baphomet or Gazelle from your graveyard and a special target. So basically they separate and one comes back, which is something, I guess. Magispectre Toad, Ogama. Thanks, Ogama. So there you go. Pendulum. Actually, Pendulum was before Link, so many types of cards. And Ancient Giant. There you go. This is the heavy hitter one. Is that the Winged Dragon of Ra? Yeah, it is. It's a Winged Dragon of Ra support card. Okay, not bad. First booster. Well, actually second booster. But by now you may be thinking, "Whoa, is this dude going to go that slow?" It's like, no, we're actually going to speed up. Or if you want me, I can just go full character and go like, let's go with Earthbound, Servant, Geo Gremlin, Synchro Monster, and read every card like as if I had an hernia or something. Reinforce, Fighting Flame Dragon, which is a nice looking card at the same time you can understand what's happening here. Earthbound Servant, Geo Kraken. Yep, this is the Earthbound archetype. Horned Soros, which is it sounds better like it really is. It's just really a Horned Soros. Whatever. I love it in English. Technically, you should be able to say horny, but horny Saurus but it's not. Phoenix Gearblade. Now look at that. Let's go. And that sword is very familiar. I can't remember where I saw it. So now I remember why I bought this box. All this Maze of Millennia stuff is like, well, greatest hits. That's why you have some old stuff, some new stuff. And Konami knows, right? Like at this point, I think there are like 3 types of Yu-Gi-Oh player. And you gotta be honest, right? Like you have collectors, which, you know, they just collect and sell and all that. Like it doesn't... You have players, like be it casual or pro, but if you have pro players, which is, you know, if you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh, unless you have a bunch of siblings or friends or whatever, and you play in your house or something, if you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh, if you want Piña Colada, the only reasonable way to do it is to play the meta. And if you play the meta, there is like, you know, there is a set, Supreme King Dragon, Odd Eyes. I love the eyes thing. Went so out of hand that they had to do the odd eyes as well. Colorless, Chaos King of Dark World. Now this card is beautiful. In foil, it's just crazy. Look at that thing. What is this? It's a Fin Fusion effect. Ringbu, Overlord of Dark World, plus 2 field monsters. Okay. If this card is fusion summoned, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. This card, original's attack and defense, each become the number of materials used for this summon times 1,000. Once per turn, quick effect, you can target one face-up card you control, discard one card. Also, your opponent cannot target that face-up card with card effects for the rest of this turn. Oh, that's crazy. So you have collectors. I think at this point in my life in Yu-Gi-Oh, I think I fit more in the collector category. Then you have like players, which have 2 categories, like pro player and casual player, I guess. And pro, it doesn't need to be like a professional. It's just like, it's just pro. The lightning is just giving me the complete life. Either you can read the title or you can see the card, but you can do both. And casual player is like whatever, you just buy like starter decks and, you know, let's go, and that's it. First XYZ. Okay, cool. I don't know what's going to be here, but whatever. Magispectre Cyclone. Not bad. Earthbound Release and Earthbound Prison. Nice. So I will consider myself a casual player in the sense that I'm not a slave to the meta, like, because I don't play that much with other people that just play in stores and stuff like that, right? So because of that, I kind of only play with the decks that I want, and because let's be honest, if you play at tournaments and stuff like that, you need to play in a certain way and with certain cards to be up to the challenge. Otherwise, you are effed. That's how the meta works. That's how power creep works and all that, right? So it is what it is. Because of that, I think I'm more of a casual in the sense that I don't go try hard. I don't follow the meta, etc. So you have collectors, players with two categories, and then you have how do I call it? So collectors, players, and well, actually, the player category also has another category, which is like the video game players or the people that only play with like speed duel, right? Because speed duel is different. Like, let's go. Damn, Supreme King, Dragon, Clear Wing. You may be thinking like, dude, your writing is shit. I can't read this, but like, no. The card, I always had this problem with Synchro Monsters if they had like silver letters. Is shit to read in person as well. So Supreme King, Dragon, Clear Wing. I love the Yu-Gi-Oh names. I always do. I always did. I will always do. Rescue Ace, Turbulence. Let's go. So that's another type of player because it's not the same. It's the closest thing that Yu-Gi-Oh has to a format, which is speed duel, and it's not even a format. But it's this way that Konami figured out to like try. Oh, there you go, Baphomet. We can do the whole thing to try and Baphomet is just shit, by the way. To try and make people play with the old cards. But Baphomet is the one that actually has a good skill. When this card is normal or flip summoned, you can add one Gazelle, the King of Mystical Beast, from the deck to your hand. So, to do the fusion. So you pay the price. I guess that's what Baphomet is 5 stars. Like you pay the price, one summon, and then it brings you Gazelle so that you can fusion them into Chimera. But yeah, Salamander with Chain. Let's go. And Salamander Fusion is also there. And even in the collectors and even players department, you can subdivide them in a category of like, are they old or not? And when I say that, it's not like age old, which I think is also the case, but is like, where did they enter Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Ooh, Ahsoka Pilar. So this is what the Star Wars fans desperately hold on to say that the Ahsoka series was good. And it's like, no, he's not. If Anakin is redeemed by that time, why will he show as Darth Vader? Please, someone explain to me how a Star Wars fan can look at that and be like, oh, that makes sense. It doesn't. So, sorry for the rant. Baphomet again. Let's go. I just love the classic cards. And that's the thing. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I try to keep up with Yu-Gi-Oh! But at the end of the day, I am a old school player, so you can see how I become more alive when I see old cards than when I see new ones. And maybe you are more of a current player and you're like, man, Altergeist Marionetteer, like that the thing is sick. And I just look at it and go like, it's cool. I mean, for me to understand the meta of Yu-Gi-Oh! At this point, I need to proactively jump into it. You know what I mean? Oh, there you go. Another rant. Let me know down below if you want to see a 5-hour video of a grown man ranting about how he lost the love for Star Wars that he had thanks to Disney and the sequels and the series and all that stuff. And mind you, it's not even an old guy thing. Again, it's not because it's the same as me. If I was here like, oh, old Yu-Gi-Oh was better. It's like, well, old Yu-Gi-Oh was simpler. It doesn't mean that it was better. Man, this is difficult to read. 100 Eyes Dragon. But then if you keep following with it, right? Like Yu-Gi-Oh! My problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, to be honest, my problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that it doesn't feel like structured. You know what I mean? Like, because I was still, like, as you can see, I was still buy cards, I was still play. Ooh, bonfire. Add one level 4 or lower pyro monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate one bonfire per turn. Like, a lot of players in Yu-Gi-Oh! Complain about the cards are so worthy, and if you come not worth it or worthy, but worthy of words. Like, it has so much text. And if you are a, player that comes from another card game, like, Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, and Pokemon sometimes is very unreadable. Like, actually, Magic, also with the new designs for Secret Lairs and like super duper versions of cards and stuff like that, they also starting to have cards that are difficult to read, not because of the text, which some abilities of some new cards are just like, what, can you repeat? But a lot of them actually. But because power creep, guys, and commander, but it's actually because of the visuals. Like, they put the text in weird ways, and it's very difficult to read those cards. Armored XYZ, let's go. In the case of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just a bunch of words, period. Like, there's a bunch of words in the cards. And a lot of times it just feels like, I don't want this to sound racist or bad, like for the love of God, I am a weeb first and a person later, so it's not me saying like, oh, the Japanese, but like, because I know that there is a Konami of America, and I know that the TCG and the OCG are not the same, so the two sides are not responsible for each other, right? But everything is Konami. So what I'm trying to get at is, why do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards in English feel like they were written by a Japanese person that knows English, but is not sure if it's expressing itself correctly? You know what I mean? It's like the person knows how to talk in English, and you can understand the person perfectly, but the person is so insecure about their own English, that they like really emphasize stuff. Like when you read a comment from a person that doesn't speak English as a primary language, and they always at some point in the comment write, sorry for my English. It's like, my brother, don't be sorry, you're trying, right? And everyone that speaks English as a primary language should be like, thank you for trying, because, and that's the reason why most of the countries that speak English as a primary language, a lot of people don't know other languages because they don't have a need. Everyone just speaks English to work, to play, to do a lot of things. So don't be sorry about your English, just keep trying. If you don't use it and it just gets rusty, that's how you lose it. Use it or lose it, which is a phrase in English. So there you go. And you know how. And sometimes I sin of that, and I say a word, and I'm like, you know what I mean, that word, and it's like, yes, people that are watching this know what I mean. I hope. Now someone comments like, no, sorry, bro, I actually mute the video. Like, why do I say that? It feels like a person that doesn't speak English natively is the one that is translating this and is very insecure. Well, let's pick an example. Except during the damage step, quick effect, which is like, quick effect. And it's like, no, just put quick effect somewhere. You can target one warrior fusion monster you control. Equip this card from your field or graveyard. Thank God they shortened graveyard. To that monster you control as an equip spell. Okay. You can only use this effect of Fighting Flame Dragon once per turn. And I love that they do that a lot. It's like, make a keyword that means that you can only use it once per turn or something, instead of having the text everywhere. While this card is equipped to Flame Swordsman, or a monster that mentions it, the equipped monster gains 700 attack. You can make a second attack during each battle phase. So this is not that bad actually, but I love that it says like Flame Swordsman or a card that mentions it. And that's because unless they thought of the cards as a pack, which is actually the one thing I don't like about the design philosophy of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not the power creep. Every card game has power creep, because if you want to keep selling boosters, there needs to be a reason. And there's only so many ways you can go horizontally before people go like, yeah. Like, and what do I mean with going horizontally? Going horizontally in a game like Chimera, let's go with a a foil, let's go, baby. Oh yeah, man. See, I'm a simple person. Give me old monsters and I go crazy. The reason why I say that, because, for example, scaling horizontally, technically, technically, fusion monsters are horizontal scaling. Synchro, XYZ, Pendulum, and Link monsters are horizontal scaling. In the sense that is more stuff to the game, not necessarily better. Now, the problem is that fusion monsters, not so much because you need a polymerization and all that, but synchro monsters, you need a tuner monster. And that's also like polymerization, but in the shape of monsters. So you're kind of in the same pace. But XYZ, that's a different story because these cards are in your extra deck. You can just summon them at any point as long as you meet the requirements, which is not that difficult. So suddenly you don't need polymerization to do what is basically polymerization, but with the monsters attached to it, because you can use the materials to do things. And that's more powerful. So that was more than horizontal, that was diagonal scaling. And then Pendulum is 3/4 of the same, and Link is 3/4 of the same. Let's go Chimera again. But, like adding more races or adding more tribes or, stuff like that is horizontal. Like, you are not necessarily going with the power level up, but you're adding more variety or adding more bulk or whatever. Ooh, Eye of Illusion. Let's go in foil, baby. I don't know what this thing does, but it has the Millennium Eye in it, so... if you control... See, like, do more bullets, Konami. Do more bullets. And, like, do the size of the illustration bigger, and maybe have the text also bigger and have the image smaller. Like, nothing makes me feel older like opening YuGiOh cards. I mean, instead of reading the card like this, I have to go like, wait a second, and try to read the card. If you control an illusion or a spellcaster monster, activate one of these effects. Your illusion and spellcaster monsters cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. Yeah, because it's a quick spell. During your opponent's turn, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase, and when an opponent monster declares an attack, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, except the attacking monster. Change the attack target to it and performs a damage calculation. Not bad. So see, that card was actually very well written. Like, and because it has bullet points, and I don't care about bullet points. I prefer that to like having all these asterisk inside the text of the card, which don't even have an asterisk. It's just like, except remember once per turn. And when it instead of saying this card, it says the name of the monster again, and the names of the monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh are just freaking long. It's just taking space. It's like, bro. And that's what I mean when I say it seems like it was written by someone that didn't trust their English. So yeah. Ultimate Flame Swordsman. Let's go. Let's go, Joey. You're redeemed. Flame Swordsman plus one fighting Flame Dragon. You can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. This is a quick effect. If this card is equipped with an equipped card. What? This is a quick effect if this card is equipped with a quick card. At the start of the damage step, if that card battles... If this card battles, goddamn, you can double this card's attack until the end of the turn, but if you do, destroy it during the end phase of this turn. You can only use each effect of Ultimate Flame Swordsman once per turn. I always like that second effect that is like, going supernova, everything or nothing. Kind of like it. But yeah, so the thing that really bothers me about the design philosophy of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that affects everything else is once they discover archetypes, they started doing everything as archetypes. And my problem with archetypes is not the archetypes themselves. Is that if it's not in the archetype, then it doesn't exist. Like, the card doesn't really have good synergy outside of the archetype. It's just me, right? Ooh, Kaitoptera. Let's go. And that makes it so you have to go back to a card that kind of fits that archetype and be like, oh, this card counts as that archetype. It's like, no, it doesn't. Or if it does, like, change the format of the cards or something in a way that it's more systematic, more systemic more than systematic, right? Like, things can scale better. The way it is right now, it just feels like every set, every expansion of Yu-Gi-Oh, every archetype is just like its own thing that plays alone, right? And it doesn't. Oh, let's go. But it doesn't interact with the rest of the cards. I don't know. It's weird. I kind of. Like. Again, I don't have anything especially against archetypes. I like. Let's go Gazelle, but I like archetypes. I really like them. Like I like that, like the categorization of like, oh, this is the Magispector collection, right? This is the Earthbound collection, all that. I really like it because it feels like those are tribes of creatures or philosophies of creatures and stuff like that, right? So, Mirage Swordsman, let's go. Or Mirage. Magispector Raccoon, Bunbuku. Or Bumbuku. See those? And because then it also applies to this booster. Like this booster is kind of trying to have like some old stuff, some new stuff, and you have the rescue cards and all that. Then you have the Flame Swordsman combo. You have the Gazelle combo, although the Gazelle combo, I don't know why Gazelle is there to be like that. You have the Magispector cards. You have the Earthbound card. And so even the booster opening experience, you like, is everything in sets, which is an interesting way of designing like Yu-Gi-Oh. That's what I'm saying. I don't have anything against that. I have a problem with the fact that it doesn't feel like my cards can play together with other cards in a way that is systemic. Like it feels like if you're playing a deck, it has to be the deck of that archetype. Otherwise, it'd just be a bunch of disconnected stuff that is not as efficient. There was spoilers, I guess. That is not as efficient as if I just, try to build a deck with stuff from all over the place, right? So it is what it is at the end of the day. Like again, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not shitting on Yu-Gi-Oh. I love Yu-Gi-Oh. Before everyone goes like I love Yu-Gi-Oh. It was my first card game. Harmonic Synchro Fusion. Let's go. It's what introduced me to card games because again, I watched anime first and then and I'm certain that for a lot of other people, it also started like that. And I'm guessing that if you're like me and you started with Yu-Gi-Oh! And then played other things, like, because I already played Pokemon, not the card game, because it was more like the video games. The card game was like, oh, okay, that's nice. Then Yu-Gi-Oh! Made me go like, oh, okay, let's see what's up with that. But the Pokemon card game was like, which still is pretty much the same, but I was like, that's cool. I was saying pretty much the same. And then there's like a 5-hour video about the meta of Pokemon. But like, it's like, okay, that's good. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Was more like what you want, because you want to be like, my trap card, and then I will deny that and stuff like that. It's a lot more dramatic. Let's go, Chimera. Arcana Force the 15th, the Fiend. Weird looking card, but nice nonetheless. Second to last booster. So, for example, any Magic player that is from the Yu-Gi-Oh era, like, so it's not a very old man, basically. Well, not very old. Sorry, Professor. Like, any player that started with Yu-Gi-Oh and is like, okay, and then moved to Magic, etc. Like, I think that every Magic player wishes that there was like a series or something of Magic the Gathering that was like Yu-Gi-Oh, that like sold you the lore and the creatures and the reasons for things and all that, and instead of this vague teasing that we get. Although if we had to have an animated series or something for Magic the Gathering at the pace they are going with releasing sets, there is no animation studio on Earth that can keep up with that pace. But because like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like a multi-layer story thing, and that's why like I care about story and lore in card games. I know I am that person, but for example, you see these and you know that there is a lore to the Earthbound creatures, and you can figure it out looking at the cards. And I don't know if there is anything to accompany that besides you figuring out within the cards, but there are channels in YouTube that tell you like the story of this card or that card, like an archetype, right? And they tell you a story of a world, or like if a creature appears in like 20 cards, you can be like, oh, that's a story of this card, like YuGiOh and all that, right? It's very cool, and I recommend that everyone watches that. It's super cool. There you go, Ashok. Everything is cooler than Star Wars. And you have that level, which is the card level, and then you have the series, which is people playing with the cards. And a lot of times those cards or those archetypes were really created because of a character that they wanted to show up, so the kind of the thing is connected. And that's cool. In Magic, for example, because in Pokemon it's just like, oh, new generations of Pokemon, new cards. That's like, it's tied to the games. It's that easy. But in Magic, a lot of times it's like, oh, new plane, or we're going back to a plane, and there's a story, and you can read online about it. But it's not like they give too much of an F, right? It's like, oh, there you go. That's it. Cool. And, end of it. So that's the end of the Maze of Millennia box. Now, let me know down below. What do you think about the pools that we pulled? Sorry for the redundancy in this video. And let me know what you think about my crazy Yu-Gi-Oh takes. Also, what do you think about my new playmat? Which I know is kind of a lot of people just hate that card and that aesthetic, so let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all those things. Let me know what you think down below. And I'll see you next time on PAX and Recreation. Bye.